evening, hello and welcome to this Super Sunday, where it's been the Sunday that every Indian has been waiting for, and the result has been just what we were hoping for. India has beaten Pakistan comprehensively by 76 runs in this first World Cup match for the men in blue as they bid to retain the World Cup. So it's been the best possible start for Team India, and you can see the celebrations are taking place in every corner of this country. Even as I can tell you, there's despondence and anger on the other side of the border. Clearly, two sides, two countries, and you can see the different reactions. Celebrations in India, anger in Pakistan. And not surprising, because now it's 6-0. That's right. India has beaten Pakistan for the 6th consecutive time in the World Cup. It appears that the Pakistanis will find it difficult. 2 generations of Pakistanis now have not seen an Indian team lose to Pakistan in a World Cup. So the ideal start for the men in blue. Those are the images we are getting on this special show. We are joined by a very special man. Someone who was a man in blue till not long ago, Harbhajan Singh, who's seen a victory in 2011 against Pakistan and has been there when we won even in 2007 during the T20 and was a member of the team in 2003. So Bhaji has very good memories that I'm going to ask him about. Nikhil Chopra has also fond memories of playing Pakistan. Shivani Gupta's smile couldn't get wider. Our sports anchor is feeling delighted with all that's gone on today. Also joining us from Adelaide is Saurabh Ganguly, the Dada of Indian cricket, along with Boria Majumdar, author, historian and consulting editor, sports at India Today. So everyone really is celebrating this day. But Bhaji, how do you celebrate? Do you do a bhangra? You want to do it for us? How did you celebrate?
Well,
Come on, do it. You, that's right. You got retired from dancing. But what is it? Is there something about playing Pakistan in the World Cup? 6 wins in a row is quite remarkable, and this one by 76 runs.
well, obviously, there is something, every time we play against Pakistan, and Pakistan play under pressure. I don't know why. And,
Do you think Pakistan plays under pressure, or do you think this team was just not good enough?
This team, I've been telling, this team is not as good as, their previous team was. But, still, they were playing against India and they, get charged up, whenever they play against India. But overall, the quality is not there in Pakistan team. And, I've been telling on TV from last 2-3 days that it'll be an easy game for India, even if they'll play to 75% of their potential.
Okay, so he predicted the victory is what Bhaji is saying. Okay, great. On his TV debut, he's predicting the victory of India over Pakistan, but also predicting a victory in a sense was you, Saurabh, out there. Is it as easy as that? I know you played some very good Pakistani teams, but today somehow India outbatted, outbowled, outfielded the Pakistanis. Were we just too good for them? Boria? Do you get that sense that we were just
saying that he predicted India's victory, fairly easy victory? I'm taking that. Yeah. I'm taking that to Saurav Rajdeep. Bhaji is saying he predicted that. So Rajdeep says congratulations on his TV debut for predicting. But do you think it was too easy? I mean, we outbatted, outbowled and outfielded Pakistan. Was it not that great a Pakistan side at all?
Bhaji predicted when I was sitting with Rami, so I had to be courteous. And that's all what I did even when I was captain, isn't it? He would do all the wrong things on the field and I had to make things up, and I did the same thing yesterday as well. When I was sitting with Ramiz and he said it'll be 6-0, 7-0, I said hold on. We know it's going to be 6-0, 7-0, but we've got to be very nice to our guests. And from that point of view, I think his predictions were spot on. And all of us from inside, believed that India would win. And as I sit here and say that we're not surprised with the performance of India. We're not surprised with India winning, and this is going to keep happening for quite a while now, because this is 9 times now if you take T20 World Cup into contention as well. And I'm not surprised with all the 9 times, because India are a much better team in terms of ability, much better team mentally. You see India on the field, they look a different side. The intensity on the field is different from the Pakistani fielding unit. And you win cricket matches when you're good in all 3 departments, and India were much better than Pakistan in all 3 departments. So as very rightfully Rajdeep said, I congratulate Bhaji on his debut and on his right prediction. We'll be waiting for his prediction against South Africa though, and let's see who wins it there.
I actually ask Bhaji a question if you allow me to.
Yeah, go ahead, Boria.
Bhaji, 2011, you turned that match with that famous delivery against Umar Akmal. Today it was Virat Kohli's innings and Suresh Raina's. But what do you think was actually the turning point when you thought Pakistan now no more?
I think when they lost 2-3 wickets,
After Shahzad got out, especially.
You thought 300 could be chased? You thought 300 can be chased?
Yeah, if you bat sensible, but the problem is with Pakistan camp, who will bat sensible for them? That's the thing.
You think there's nobody, you don't think Pakistan has a match winner at the moment?
Yeah,
they don't have a match winning
I think only
batsman.
Misbah and Yunus Khan are the capable player who could win games for Pakistan. But overall, Pakistan, I don't think they were even competing in this game.
Even in his last hurrah for Pakistan in ODI, Shahid Afridi, lots expected for him, but he never manages to explode at the right time, isn't it?
He's that kind of a bomb. If he'll fall into your side, he'll be dangerous. But mostly he fell.
He falls. But tell me, was there a turning point for you, Nikhil? Was there a moment in this match where you said it's all done? For me, I think Bhaji's right. It was, at 90 for 1. Pakistan 85 for 1 had a decent start. And then between 85 for 1, they collapsed to 122 for 5.
Yeah.
That spell of 35 runs where you suddenly had the spinners, interestingly, that's when Ashwin bowled those three, got 3 maidens.
And the pace that he bowled at, that was to me, watching from the outside, fantastic. Adelaide, to have a heart like that, bowl slow, get some turn off that wicket. But talking about, like Bhaji said, chasing 300, if you're a little smart, with the new field restrictions, getting 90 or 100 in the last 10 is not a difficult feat, because now you're only allowed 4 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. As a bowler, it gets more and more difficult. If you're smart enough chasing 300, if you target 220 odd, close to that in 40 overs, wickets in hand, last 10, you easily get a 90 or 100.
So you aim for 220 in 40 overs, and then Pakistan, once they were 120 for 5, were out of this game.
Yeah, if we were in the same situation, if India was chasing, India would have chased the score.
You believe India would have chased this score? Okay, let's leave it. Today we are a better team.
No, because we have the quality.
Yeah, we have a long batting lineup.
In our batting, and people who can play long innings, and they know how to make the match out of.
I agree. I agree. Go ahead, Shiva.
Let us go across now, Rajdeep, to Adelaide, where our senior editor Vikrant Gupta is actually surrounded, almost getting mocked by fans there. India fans jubilant. Let's listen into what they're saying.
एक मिनट भैया भाईजान मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ आपको इंडिया डिफेंड करेगा कि इंडिया ने हमारी कंट्री को हराया है सो आई एम फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान बहुत अच्छा लगा तो ना इंडिया विल विन वर्ल्ड कप एवरी टाइम एवरी ईयर इंडिया बेस्ट कंट्री
We have won every time in World Cup from Pakistan.
That's it. But then the World Cup, do the Indians really have a chance in the World Cup?
Yeah. Australia is the only competitor we have, but we will win the World Cup.
Team in
If
the
they
World
keep
Cup.
performing like this, they should win the World Cup.
Sure.
They should, yes, absolutely.
All of you are very disappointed when they've been losing.
No, mate.
But still, we proved ourselves today. We can go the distance.
It takes one good match to get the momentum.
Is the momentum with the Indians?
This match is yes, they will get the momentum today and they will keep the same performance.
We know at this point because of their performance. We're very happy because of the test matches. But in the one days,
we can go on and on all night. But I think I'll take leave. I'll let them go, savor the win, enjoy the victory.
Right, Vikrant, take care. The mob is only going to get stronger. I worry for him.
But that's the worry, and that's the question I want to pose. And started with Boria and Saurav there in Adelaide. The worry is in all this frenzy, there might be a feeling we've already won the World Cup. The fact is there are other teams to conquer, teams that are potentially better than us, like South Africa and Australia. Do you get that sense, Boria and Saurav out there, that will this give us momentum, or will this give us a sense of quiet relief that we've beaten Pakistan? Now whatever happens doesn't really matter. Which way will we go in the next 5 or 6 weeks?
Rajdeep, 3 months you've not had anything to win. I mean, you've won something, that too against Pakistan. Let's celebrate. South Africa's 1 week away. I mean, we'll obviously get into... This will give us momentum. Make no mistake. Saurav has been saying this. We are not going to play Australia in Australia, maybe except once. So it will definitely give you momentum, but I think fans deserve every bit of it. We were under the cosh, under the pump, under the hammer. Team India is nowhere. So we won against Pakistan. For us, it's the final before the final. It's time to celebrate. What Rajdeep is asking is, do we sort of, are we sort of going overboard? I mean, there are other teams to conquer, but we are reacting in a manner that we've already won the World Cup.
No, I don't think we are reacting in a manner that we've already won the World Cup, but we must understand that India-Pakistan is always going to be a big game and people are going to be happy. Rajdeep's happy, I am happy, Boria is happy, everyone's happy. Look at Harbhajan, he's doing the Bhangra. Unbelievable, Bhaju. And so everyone's happy. How many times has he beaten Pakistan? So even after beating Pakistan so many times, he still has so much of satisfaction sitting outside the ground and in our studios. So that's what India-Pakistan games do to you. You should have seen the atmosphere in the morning of the play. You should have seen the atmosphere right throughout. It's like carnival out here in Adelaide. So obviously the celebrations will be high. But as much as I say that, I know that it's just the beginning of the World Cup. What it does is it makes India a step closer to the quarterfinals, because that is the format of the World Cup. You beat one of the big teams and you make sure in the quarterfinals. But as I completely agree with you, the challenges will be South Africa. West Indies will not be a challenge. I think Zimbabwe will be more of a challenge than West Indies at this stage, the way West Indies have played or Zimbabwe has played in this series. For all of us, the World Cup starts from the quarterfinal stage because that's how the format is. So as much as I have said before, I feel South Africa will be the biggest challenge in this group for India.
Yeah, Saurav makes a very important point there, Rajdeep, about our positioning in that group. Basically, by beating Pakistan, we have now almost ensured that we'll either come first or second. So effectively, we will avoid Australia. That's what you want. You want to avoid Australia before the semi-final or the final. That, I think, is now assured.
In fact, it's important to be in the top two, because if you're in the top two, then you avoid Australia and possibly New Zealand, who many are looking at as the potential dark horse, the banana peel that teams will have to face in the World Cup. So that all that is good news. And I like one comment, Shivani, and you can then take it perhaps to Shami's house where the celebrations are taking place, which was that there was a Pakistani who Vikrant asked a question, who said, I'm very happy for India to win. That's a good sign. If in Adelaide you can find a Pakistani who says, I congratulate India today, I'm celebrating with you, it's a great sign for Indo-Pak cricket, because I've seen much too often a lot of antagonism after the match. But I think this was a good sign that maybe Australia, maybe he's had a lot of beer, so he's happy.
Or Rajdeep, in that crowd, did he have any other choice?
He had no choice. He was surrounded by Indians there, but that's a good sign.
The rivalry has seen many shades. It has become more friendly over the years. But I just want to add one more thing, Rajdeep. You talked about getting ahead of ourselves. While we did call this the real final, in many ways, some would say, okay, let the real World Cup begin now. We've got the Pakistan match out of the way. Let the World Cup begin.
Sure, but I think it's an important point that we needed to be in the top two. I just want a word, though, on the man of the match. And Bhaji, you played a lot of cricket with Virat Kohli. Just how good is now Virat? Because he has scored, Nikhil was correcting 22. Me, 22 one-day internationals, more than what even Sachin Tendulkar scored at the same age. He's the first Indian to score 100 in a World Cup against Pakistan. He's scaling one mountain after the other. How good is he?
First batsman also to score centuries in the first match in 2 World Cups.
How good is he?
Well, he's phenomenal. I think he's
all-time great for you now. Is he as a one-day batsman? Would he be in your all-time Indian 11 of a one day if you had to pick an all-time Indian 11?
The way he's going, definitely he's going to be captaining all-time 11.
Captaining an all-time 11?
Because, I know Virat from many years now. He's always been a very confident player. He's always wanted to go out there and make it count. Even, when he made his debut, we were, playing Ajanta Mendes, who were at one stage, nobody could pick him. And Virat came into the side and he got 50 odd runs against him, and he came out and Paji, how good I was against him. And, he's
so he has that
kind
self-confidence, that self-belief.
Yes,
let me bring in Saurav and Boria on that before I take a break. How good a player Boria and Saurav has Virat been? He's had this great Australian summer. I know Sachin built his reputation in Australia. The Australians began to respect Sachin as the sort of Asian Bradman in a sense, because he performed against Australia in Australia. Is Virat now reaching the levels of a Sachin Tendulkar after performances like today?
In the one-day format, he's been exceptional, Rajdeep, over the last 3 years. And in that test series, 400s against Australia. Even Sachin has not scored 400s against Australia in any particular series. So no doubt about it. He had a bit of a slump in form in England, but the way he came back was quite exceptional. Rajdeep's question is, has Virat now sort of pushed the pedestal up? Is he in that echelon of greatness? Maybe with Sachin, especially in the one-day format, 2200s, and so many in Australia over the last 3 months.
Oh yeah, I think even before this knock, he's gone to that pedestal. He was always a champion one-day player. You look at his record, 2200s in one-day cricket in maybe 160, 170 games, and he's not over yet. He's just 27. He's got another 10 years of cricket in front of him if he survives the onslaught of day in, day out cricket. What determines a great player is his performance in Test cricket, along with his performance in one-day cricket. But Test cricket comes first. And when Virat got 400s in 4 Test matches in Australia, he just jumped from one level to the other. Don't compare him with Sachin Tendulkar, because that man has got 100 international hundreds, has done it for 21 years for the country, which is phenomenal. But this fellow is as good as anyone. Not as good as Sachin Tendulkar yet, but is as good as anyone you'll get in world cricket at the moment. What stands out is his ability. What stands out is his competitiveness, his passion to win big games and be the standout performer in big games. And you can see that on the field. Look at his captaincy in Australia. India may not have won, but India have come out of this series in those 2 Test matches when Virat was captain, in Adelaide and in Sydney, with their heads held high. So he's got a lot of things in store for Indian cricket. You know, he's got big shoulders on which Indian cricket lie, and he's got shoulders on which Indian cricket will definitely go forward in the years to come.
That's a nice way to end, because if you remember the line of the 2011 World Cup, when Virat and Yusuf Pathan held Sachin on their shoulders, I think Virat said, you know, when he was asked that Sachin has carried the burden of Indian cricket for 21 years, it's now time for some of us. We carried it. He's done that today against Pakistan.
An average of almost over 52 in the last 12 months in ODIs for India. So that's the kind of impact that Virat Kohli has had.